Alien girl laughed at the human's gift, until she realized he'd rebuilt her planet's hymn. The sulfurous air clung to Kale's lungs, thick and hot, smelling of ozone and alien despair. He scrambled over jagged obsidian, the stolen data shard clutched tight. Not stolen, not really, salvaged, from a derelict research station. He hadn't known what it was, just that it hummed with dormant power. Then she dropped from the rock ceiling, a blur of bioluminescent chitin and coiled muscle, landing with a soft thud that vibrated through the very rock beneath him. Her eyes, luminous gold slits, locked onto him. Her voice, a guttural purr that resonated like a seismic tremor, cut through the hiss of the vents. "Human, you have what is mine." He skidded, losing purchase. "What? Look, lady, I don't know what you're talking about. This ancient tech, found it. Finders keepers." He brandished the data shard, a useless defense. Her lips, a thin, cruel line, peeled back to reveal serrated teeth. "You speak of finders keepers on my world? You are not merely a scavenger. You are a desecrator." She moved, impossibly fast. A hand, scaled and sharp-taloned, shot out, pinning his throat against the searing rock face. His breath hitched. The air was gone. Her face, inches from his, was beautiful in a terrifying alien way. Patterns of light like intricate tattoos pulsed across her cheekbones. Her scent, sharp and musky, filled his head, intoxicating and terrifying. "Do you know what you hold, little thief?" she hissed, her grip tightening. His vision swam. I don't." His fingers twitched, brushing against the data shard. "Some old song? Code? I was trying to fix it." Her golden eyes narrowed, a flicker of something unreadable there. "A song? You dare call the heart of Xylos, the sacred hymn, a song?" She pressed harder, a low growl rumbling in her chest. "Your audacity knows no bounds. You will regret this insolence." His lungs burned. This was it. Some cosmic joke ending with him as alien jerky. "Look, just tell me what it is. I just wanted to maybe sell it. I'm a smuggler, not some holy artifact raider. Honest." His last word was a strangled gasp as the ground beneath them rumbled violently. Not her doing. A distant rhythmic thump. Deeper, louder. It vibrated through the rock, her head tilted, golden eyes darting to the cave entrance. "The elders! They heard!" Her grip didn't loosen. "This changes nothing. You are still mine to punish." The thumping grew louder, closer. Heavy boots, many of them. The metallic tang of plasma rifles. Oh, perfect. Just what I needed. More fun-loving locals. He tried to wriggle, but she was impossibly strong. He felt her shift, her body pressing against his. For a moment, his fear was replaced by a jolt of something primal. She was warm, very warm, and utterly alien. Her eyes returned to him, a new calculation in their depths. "You will serve a purpose yet human. Move. Now." She shoved him, not gently, towards a narrow crevice he hadn't noticed. "Or they will have us both." He stumbled into the crevice, the rough rock scraping his shoulder, Xylar a breath behind him, pressing him deeper into the suffocating darkness. The passage was barely wide enough for one, forcing their bodies flush against each other. Her chitinous plating scraped against his worn flight suit. The heat radiating off her was oppressive, a living furnace. He could feel the curve of her hip, the hard line of her thigh, the subtle undulation of her bioluminescent patterns even in the near dark. "Comfy, Empress?" he gritted out, trying to ignore the sudden, unwanted spike of adrenaline that had nothing to do with fear. Her breath feathered against his ear, sharp and hot. "Silence, human, unless you wish to announce our presence to the Elder's Guard." The thudding boots outside grew louder, their voices echoing, guttural and demanding. He could feel her muscles tense, the subtle tremor of her alien body. The air in the crevice grew thin, thick with the scent of her, like ozone in a strange, sweet flower. "So, these elders, they like to hunt people too, or just you," he whispered. "They hunt power," she corrected, her voice low, a predatory hum. "And the sacred hymn is power they covet, power they believe only they are worthy to wield." His hip brushed against hers. He felt a jolt. This was insane. He was pressed against a murderous alien empress in a lava-lit cave, hunted by a zealot guard, and his body was reacting like a damn fool. "Right. So you're the good guy here. And they're the bad guys. Got it. Classic setup. He could almost feel her eye slits narrow in the gloom. There are no good guys, human. Only those who claim what is theirs, and those who are foolish enough to resist. A flash of light pierced the darkness outside the crevice. A beam from a plasma rifle. It swept past, inches from their faces. He pressed back harder against the rock, his body crushing against hers. He heard her sharp intake of breath. "Your species," she murmured, her voice laced with an odd curiosity. "You are soft. Yet you persist," he snorted. "Soft? Lady, I've survived worse than a bad date with a glowworm queen. This isn't my first rodeo." He felt her shift, a movement that brought her even closer. Her hand, the one that had been at his throat, now rested on his chest, splayed open. He could feel the heat, the subtle texture of her palm against his flight suit. It wasn't a threat now. Not exactly. More like a claim, an assessment. "Glowworm Queen? Is that some human mating call?" she asked, her voice dangerously soft. "No, it's... never mind." He groaned internally. "Right. Awkward sexual misunderstanding, check. Just means you're surprisingly pretty for someone who tried to throttle me." Her grip tightened. Not painful, but possessive. "Human. You speak with insolence. Yet, there is a strange truth in your words." He could feel the hard beat of her own alien heart against his chest. It was fast. A drum against his own frantic rhythm. The Elder Guard's voices receded, but Kale knew it was a temporary reprieve. They'd circle back. Zealer pulled them deeper into a small, stifling chamber within the crevice. It was barely large enough for them to stand, much less move. She turned to face him, her bioluminescent patterns now pulsing with a faint, agitated glow. "Show me the shard." Her voice was still commanding, but there was a hint of urgency beneath it. He fumbled in his pocket, pulling out the iridescent data shard. It pulsed faintly, a soft blue light emanating from its core. "Here. Look, I didn't know what it was. Just that it was ancient, and humming with a frequency I hadn't heard before. Thought I could decrypt it, maybe sell it to a collector." He held it out. She snatched it from his hand, her long, slender fingers surprisingly delicate as they traced its surface. Her golden eyes widened, and the light on her skin intensified, bathing them both in an ethereal blue glow. You truly did not know." Her voice was barely a whisper. "This is not merely ancient. It is shattered." The sacred hymn was divided into 1,000 fragments during the Great Scourge. Only the elders possess the knowledge to reassemble it. They have been trying for cycles. She held the shard up, examining the intricate fractured glyphs embedded within. "This piece, it is from the heart, the core stanza. It was lost for eons." Kyle shrugged. "Yeah, well, I'm a pretty good mechanic. And coder. Got bored on a long haul, started messing with it. It was like a puzzle. The frequencies were all over the place, but there was a pattern, a rhythm." He felt a sudden heat on his hand. She had taken his wrist, her touch light but firm. Her golden eyes, full of a strange intensity, were fixed on him. You tried to rebuild it? A human?" He flinched at the implication. I heard a melody in the static, an echo, and I hated that it was broken. It felt wrong." Her gaze lingered on his face, a new kind of scrutiny. "No human has ever attempted such a thing. They only seek to exploit." A low growl rumbled through the rock. The elders were back, closer this time. Their heavy footsteps echoed in the passage outside, making the very air vibrate. "We are trapped," she stated, her voice devoid of panic, only grim resignation. "They will find the entrance soon." He felt the familiar dread coil in his gut, but a new resolve hardened it. "Maybe not. That hymn of yours, is it important? Like, really, really important?" She scoffed. "It is the binding of my people, the source of our collective power. The elders claim it grants them legitimacy. Without it, the lineage is broken." Kyle nodded slowly. "Right. So if we can fix it, or at least if I can make it sound like it's fixed, that'd be a big deal, wouldn't it?" He looked at her, a mischievous glint in his eyes. "Distraction? Big, loud, impossible distraction?" Her gaze was unwavering. "Impossible. Even if you could, the energy required to project the hymn's full resonance would be immense. It would collapse this cavern, and us. Yeah, well, call me crazy. I've got an idea. But you're gonna have to trust me, Emp. And I'm going to need quiet. He reached for the shard, his fingers brushing hers. An electric current jolted through him. He saw a flicker of surprise in her eyes before it was replaced by a dangerous curiosity. The rumble of the Elders' patrol grew louder, closer, the cave vibrating with their approach. Kale ignored them, his focus entirely on the data shard and the alien Empress watching his every move. Okay, so here's the deal, he whispered, his voice intense. This thing, it's a mess. But I've got a rough patch. If I can reroute some of the cave's geothermal energy, use it to boost the output, we might get a few seconds of full resonance. Enough to make them stop. Listen. Zeeler's eyes, normally slits of gold, widened slightly. You speak of channeling raw planetary energy? Are you mad? He met her gaze, defiant. Desperate times, Empress. Besides, if this hymn really is that important, a little geothermal jumpstart isn't gonna hurt it, right? He started fumbling with a small multi-tool from his belt, its metallic clicks echoing in the confined space. Stand back. This is gonna be volatile. She didn't move, her body still pressed against his in the narrow crevice. Her gaze was fixed on his hands, a strange mix of disbelief and fascination on her alien features. He could feel her warmth, the intoxicating musk of her skin. The proximity was driving him crazy, but the adrenaline of the moment pushed it to the background. Almost. Volatile is an understatement, human. If you fail, the feedback will incinerate us both. He grunted, forcing a small probe into a crack in the rock, feeling the raw, searing heat of the planet. Then pray I don't fail. He pulled out a coil of wire, hastily wrapping it around the data shard. His fingers brushed against her scaled arm, a shiver running through him. You're awfully close for someone who thinks I'm about to explode us. Her voice, a low purr, was right by his ear. My people believe that if death is inevitable, one should face it with a worthy companion. He paused, a smirk playing on his lips. So I'm worthy now, am I? That's an upgrade from little thief. He risked a glance at her. Her golden eyes were intense, unblinking. Her bioluminescent patterns were flaring, a mesmerizing dance of light across her skin. The air thickened with her scent. The Elders' voices were right outside. They were talking about breaching the crevice. He had seconds. Ready or not, Empress? He braced himself, sending the jolt of raw energy through the wires, into the data shard. The ancient artifact flared with an blinding blue light. A low hum vibrated through the air, then intensified. A sound, deep and resonant, bloomed from the shard. It was a melody, ancient and powerful, but fragmented, rough, distorted. Kyle's version. The Elder Guard outside abruptly silenced. The raw, unrefined notes of the sacred hymn, Kyle's mangled but undeniably potent version, echoed through the cavern. It was a distorted symphony of power, a melody that ripped through the very fabric of the rock. The Elders' patrol outside had frozen, their guttural shouts replaced by an eerie silence. Zeeler gasped, a sound torn from deep within her chest. Her bioluminescent patterns exploded in a blinding display, her body rigid against his, trembling with an energy that mirrored the hymn's chaotic resonance. It is impossible, she whispered, her voice raw with a mix of awe and fury. You cannot wield it. Not like this. Kyle felt the heat building, the air crackling with energy. His ears rang. The raw power of the hymn, even his broken rendition, was immense. It's not perfect, I know, he yelled over the rising crescendo of sound. But it's enough to get their attention, right? Enough to make them wonder. He could feel the rock groaning, fissures appearing in the cavern walls. We need to move. It's gonna blow. But Zeeler wasn't moving. Her eyes, wide and luminous, were fixed on him, a primal intensity burning within them. Her hands, still clutching his arm, tightened their grip until it was almost painful. Her body, pressed against his, was no longer merely a barrier but a source of overwhelming sensation. The hymn, in its fractured glory, was a living thing between them, its chaotic energy binding them together. The resonance, it shifts, she murmured, her voice strangely soft amidst the escalating roar. Your presence, it corrupts the hymn, yet it vitalizes it. He felt a strange pull, a current of energy flowing from her to him, then back again. It wasn't just physical. It was something deeper, something in his very core responding to her alien essence. Her patterns pulsed rapidly, a wild, beautiful dance of light. He knew instinctively that this wasn't just about the him, this was about them. His body responded, a primal ache blooming in his groin. Vitalizes, huh? Is that your polite way of saying it's turning me on? He rasped, his voice rough. He could feel his own blood singing, his pulse hammering. Her head tilted, her golden eyes dropping to his lips, then lower. Human slang is crude, but your on state, it is understood. The him seeks completion, and so do I. Her fingers, long and delicate, traced the line of his jaw, then dipped to his throat, feeling the frantic pulse there. You have defiled the sacred song. Now you will mend it, with me. The rock groaned louder. Dust rained down from the ceiling. Outside, the elder guard had begun to shout again, a mix of awe and rage. They were moving, rushing towards the sound. Kael's mind screamed danger, but his body, his very being, was caught in the powerful, intoxicating grip of the alien empress. She leaned in, her scent overwhelming him. The him demands a sacrifice, human. A joining. The him's raw power crescendoed, vibrating through their very bones. The cavern began to crack, dust raining down. Zilar's words, the him demands a sacrifice, human. A joining, echoed in the chaos, but it wasn't a question. Her hand slid from his throat to the buckle of his flight suit, her movements deliberate, unhurried despite the collapsing rock. He stood rigid, his mind reeling from the sudden, direct shift in her intent. His body, however, had already made its choice, responding with an immediate, desperate heat. The bioluminescent patterns on her skin pulsed with blinding intensity, a living map of desire. A joining? He choked out, his voice hoarse. Now, we're about to be buried alive. Her lips, thin and precise, quirked into something that was almost a smile. Such trivialities. The him demands its due, and its due is a resonance only achieved through mutual surrender. Her fingers worked quickly, adeptly, unzipping his suit with a hiss of fabric. The cool air hit his skin, quickly replaced by the scorching heat of her body pressed against his. He felt the coarse texture of her chitinous plates against his bare chest, the soft yielding of her alien flesh beneath. The scent of ozone and her strange, sweet pheromones filled his head, intoxicating him, erasing all thought of escape. His hands, without conscious command, found her waist, gripping the firm, alien curve of her. He felt the subtle ridging of her spine beneath his fingers, a fascinating alien texture. His gaze dropped to her mouth, then lower to the swell of her chest, the twin glow of her pulsating bioluminescence. He swallowed hard. Surrender, huh? You're not exactly the surrendering type, Empress. Her golden eyes met his, fierce and possessive. No, I am the one who claims. And you, human, are claimed. With a swift, powerful motion, she pulled him closer, pressing her lower body against his. He felt the undeniable proof of her alien arousal, a damp heat, and a subtle vibrating thrum that resonated with the hymn's chaotic energy. A shock of pleasure, sharp and overwhelming, surged through him. He gasped, his back arching, his hands tightening on her hips. God damn! The hymn pulsed, its notes echoing the rhythm of his own frantic heartbeat. This wasn't just sex. It was a ritual, a terrifying, exhilarating act of possession. Her head tilted back, her throat arching, her lips parted, and a low, guttural cry escaped her. A sound that was both primal and deeply, intensely sexual. He felt her shift, her strong legs parting, pulling him in. Her alien anatomy was a revelation, hot and tight and utterly other. He groaned, a raw sound torn from his throat. The world narrowed to the feel of her, the smell of her, the overwhelming presence of her alien body demanding his. His vision swam with the pulsing glow of her skin, the primal urgency of her movements. The cavern rumbled again, closer this time, but he barely registered it. There was only Zilar, and the wild, impossible resonance of the hymn as it crashed through them, binding them, making them one. The climax was less an explosion and more a furious, all-consuming collapse. Zilar's body seized around his, her alien cries echoing the dying roar of the hymn. Her bioluminescent patterns flared one last blinding time, then dimmed to a soft, languid pulse. He felt a jolt, a strange internal snap. Not just physical release, but something deeper. A connection forged in chaos and desperate pleasure. He slumped against her, gasping, the taste of ozone and her unique musk heavy on his tongue. The cave, though still rumbling, seemed to quiet, the immediate threat of collapse subsiding for a moment. He was soaked in sweat, shivering despite the heat. Her grip on him remained tight, her head buried in the hollow of his shoulder. He could feel her ragged breathing, the slow, powerful beat of her alien heart. "Holy shit," he whispered, the words catching in his throat. What the hell just happened?" Her voice, when it came, was thick, deeper than before. A low purr that vibrated through his chest. "The hymn has claimed us both, human. We are bound." He pushed back slightly, trying to meet her eyes, but she held him fast. "Bound? What does that even mean? Is that your version of, we just had mind-blowing sex?" She finally lifted her head, her golden eyes hazy with lingering sensation, but already sharpening with renewed purpose. "It means, the resonance is complete. My lineage, tainted by the Elder's manipulation, is now purified. Through you." He stared at her. "Purified? So, I'm a glorified alien purification filter now? Great. Just what my resume needed." A faint glow appeared on his chest, right where her hand had been. A faint swirling pattern, bioluminescent, mirroring the patterns on her own skin. It wasn't painful, but it was there. Permanent. "What the actual fuck is that?" he demanded, trying to rub it off, but it seemed to be under his skin. "A mark of union," she stated, her voice devoid of apology, a possessive undertone. "My claim. You are now part of my life force, part of the hymn's truth. And through you the hymn's true power will flow." He looked at the glowing mark on his chest, then back at her. Her expression was utterly serious, even regal. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't just a one-night stand. This was alien marriage? Forced, ritualistic, earth-shatteringly intense alien marriage? His stomach lurched. He was a smuggler, a lone wolf, not some alien empress's consort in bondage. You marked me." She pressed a soft, strange kiss to the mark. It sent a shiver through him. "Yes, and you, in turn, have marked me. With your defiance, with your crude yet profound rebuilding of the hymn, with your essence." The ground rumbled again, closer this time. A deep, angry roar echoed from the main passage. "The Elders. They know," Zilar said, her voice now sharp with renewed focus. "They felt the completion of the resonance. They will be furious, and they will come for us." Her hand, no longer caressing, gripped his arm. "Now, human, we face them. Together." The reverberation of the hymn's primal roar still thrummed in the air, a physical manifestation of their union. Outside, the Elder Guard had transformed from a search party into a vengeful mob. Their roars, filled with fury and confusion, echoed through the fractured tunnels. Zilar, naked and glowing with the residual energy of their bond, turned from Kale, her posture radiating raw, untamed power. "They believe you have defiled the sacred hymn. They believe I have been corrupted." She glanced back at him, her eyes burning with an almost feral intensity. "Let them believe. It makes their defeat all the sweeter." He scrambled to pull on his flight suit, the strange bioluminescent mark on his chest pulsing faintly through the fabric. "Defeat? There's an army of them out there, Empress. You think they'll just give up because we had an intense moment with your family hymn?" She scoffed, a sound of pure disdain. "They are mere puppets of their own twisted dogma. The hymn's true resonance has been awakened, and it now belongs to me. To us." She moved with an unsettling grace, reaching for a small, concealed compartment in the cavern wall. From it, she pulled out a long, slender staff, its tip glowing with an inner light that hummed in response to her touch, to the mark on Kale's chest. "This is the Staff of Truth. It amplifies the hymn. I am its rightful wielder. They merely hoard its fragments." She turned to face the narrow crevice. "Come, human. You have helped me rebuild the hymn. Now help me reclaim my birthright." He gulped, the strange, possessive mark on his chest itching with a phantom energy. He was in too deep. Way too deep. But looking at her, radiant and deadly, he felt a surge of something akin to awe, and a stubborn, defiant pride. "Right, my pleasure. Just so we're clear, After this, we're talking about this bound thing. And about what this glowing tattoo means for my social life. She gave him a sidelong glance, a flicker of amusement in her golden eyes. Your social life, human, is now inextricably bound to mine. A far grander existence, I assure you. She raised the staff, and the cave entrance, previously a small opening, seemed to shimmer, expanding slightly under the staff's power. The scent of ozone intensified, and the very air seemed to vibrate. The elders' voices, previously just outside, now sounded like they were right on top of them. "Zelar, you blasphemer, what have you done?" A guttural voice boomed. Zelar stepped forward into the light, staff held high. Her voice, when she spoke, resonated with a power that shook the very rock, echoing the hymn's renewed fury. "I have reclaimed what is mine, Elder Jor, and I have found its true conductor." She gestured back with the staff, a clear, unmistakable declaration, inviting Kyle to step forward beside her. The glowing mark on his chest pulsed brighter beneath his suit, a beacon drawing him out of the shadows. There was no going back now. Kyle stepped out of the crevice, standing beside Zelar, the glowing mark on his chest a defiant beacon. The Elder Guard, a formidable line of armored aliens, faltered. Their leader, a hulking figure with ancient scarred scales, gaped at Zelar, then at Kale. "The human? Impossible. The resonance is corrupted." Zelar's laugh, sharp and clear, cut through the tension. "Corrupted? Or perfected, Elder Jor? Your fractured dogma has held our people in chains for too long. The hymn demanded a true, unbound heart, and it found one." She raised the staff of truth. The pure, unadulterated notes of the sacred hymn, no longer Kale's raw version but Zelar's refined command, soared through the cavern. It was a melody of pure power, vibrating with ancient authority. The Elder Guard staggered, some clutching their heads, their armor crackling under the sheer sonic force. "This cannot be," Jor roared, struggling against the hymn's power. "You have aligned yourself with a defiler." Zelar's golden eyes burned with triumph. "He did not defile it. He rebuilt it. Fragment of my lineage, a piece of my hymn was hidden in the cosmos, only to be found by a humble scavenger. He saw its beauty, Elder Jor, where you only saw power to control." She lowered the staff, a faint hum still vibrating in the air. The Elder Guard, disoriented, remained stunned. "My people have strayed from the true path of the hymn, seeking only to dominate, not to harmonize. My human Kyle has shown me true harmony. He felt the broken song and sought to make it whole." She turned to Kyle, her gaze softening, a silent understanding passing between them. He felt the phantom itch of the mark on his chest, a comforting thrum now, not a shock. He wasn't just Kale the smuggler anymore. He was something more, something bound. He met her gaze, a small defiant smile playing on his lips. "Harmony, huh? Guess I'm good for something besides running contraband." Zelar's expression flickered, a hint of genuine warmth in her eyes. "Indeed. And your profanity. It adds a certain earthy charm to the hymn's purity." The Elder Jor, recovering, tried to lunge, but Zelar merely extended the staff. A wave of force, invisible but palpable, slammed into him, knocking him back against the rock face with a grunt. "Your power is broken, Jor. Your false claims shattered." She looked out at the remaining guard. "The hymn demands loyalty, not to ancient lies, but to its true spirit. Choose." Slowly, one by one, the guard lowered their weapons, their eyes shifting from their fallen elder to the regal figure of Zelar, the new empress. Kale watched, a stunned witness to the transfer of power, and he was right in the middle of it. Bound, the elders were purged, their power broken, their twisted interpretation of the sacred hymn silenced. Kyle found himself standing beside Zelar, not just as a temporary ally, but as something new, something integral. The mark of union on his chest no longer pulsed with alien energy, but resonated with a quiet, persistent warmth. He still wasn't sure if he was thrilled about it, but the alternative had been grim. "So," he said, breaking the silence, the echo of the recent power struggle still hanging heavy in the cavern. "Now that you're the Empress and all, what happens to me?" Zelar turned to him. Her golden eyes, once so fiercely challenging, now held a deep, unreadable glint. Her bioluminescent patterns, which had flared so wildly during their confrontation, now pulsed with a soft, steady rhythm, reflecting her new calm authority. You, Kale, are the conduit of the reawakened him. You are my mate, my chosen. You are home. He blinked. Home. Lady, I'm a smuggler. Home is wherever my ship isn't being impounded. She stepped closer, her hand gently tracing the bioluminescent mark on his chest. It sent a shiver through him, not of fear, but of an odd, burgeoning possessiveness. Your physical vessel may roam, but your spirit, your essence, is bound to mine, to my people, to the him. Her gaze was intense. We share a resonance, a truth. Is this not a deeper home than any metal shell? He found himself reaching out, his hand hesitantly touching her scaled cheek. Her skin was warm, smooth, alien. So, no more trying to kill me then? He tried to inject his usual sarcasm, but it came out softer, tinged with a vulnerability he hadn't known he possessed. Her lips curved into that rare, subtle smile. Unless it is in the throes of passion, human, then perhaps the urge may return, but you will survive it. He snorted, a laugh bubbling up. Figures. An alien empress, and my life is still all about fighting for survival in bed. Her eyes sparkled with amusement. It is the proper test of a mate. You have proven resilient. He looked at the newly formed fissures in the cavern walls, then at the scattered remnants of the Elder Guard's broken authority. He had stumbled into an alien ritual, accidentally rebuilt a sacred hymn, and ended up as the consort of a savage empress. His life was officially insane. So what now? We rebuild the planet? You sing the hymn all day? She leaned in, her scent, once a danger signal, now a comforting presence. We establish the new order. We spread the hymn's true message. And you, Kyle, will help me. Your unique perspective, your crude insights, they are valued, necessary. He felt a strange pull, a sense of belonging he hadn't felt in years. The lonely guilt of his past, the endless wandering seemed to recede, replaced by the warmth of her touch, the quiet thrum of their shared bond. He was still Kale, the human smuggler. But now, he was also something more, something claimed, something essential. Right, necessary. Guess I'm stuck with you then, Empress. He pulled her closer, the glowing mark on his chest pulsing in time with her own soft bioluminescence. He was home. A strange, dangerous, incredibly erotic home. The twin moons of Xylos, one a shattered ring, the other a fiery orb, cast long, distorted shadows across the volcanic plain. Kyle stood beside Zilar on a newly cleared platform, overlooking the emerging structures of her re-established dominion. The air, though still sulphurous, held a cleaner, more vibrant tang, no longer choked by the Elder's oppressive control. He watched her, regal and powerful, her bioluminescent patterns a mesmerizing flow of shifting light. The staff of truth, now adorned with iridescent minerals, hummed gently in her grasp. So this is your true form, huh? Empress, not just some pissed-off bounty hunter hiding in caves, he mused, leaning against a newly placed crystalline pillar. She turned, a faint smile playing on her lips. My true form, Kyle, is that of the Xyleran Queen, a title I could not fully claim until the hymn was reawakened. Her gaze drifted to the mark of union on his chest, visible beneath his now patched flight suit. And until I found my destined resonance. He shifted, still getting used to the idea of being destined for anything other than a quick buck and a quiet life. Destined, huh? Sounds awfully permanent for a guy who prefers to keep his options open. She stepped closer, her hand reaching out, her touch cool against his skin as she traced the edge of the mark. Permanence is a cultural strength, human. It implies commitment, loyalty, traits my people value above all. He caught her hand, holding it gently. Yeah, well, commitment's new for me, but I'm learning. He remembered the chaotic, sensual fury of their bonding, the way her body had felt, utterly alien and yet so perfectly made for his. The raw power of the hymn had seemed to flow through him, not just from the shard. That hymn, it really connects us, doesn't it? Beyond just, He gestured vaguely between them. Her golden eyes softened, a rare vulnerability in their depths. It does. You hear its whispers, do you not? The needs of my people. The echoes of my thoughts. He did. Faintly. A hum beneath his own thoughts, a sense of her mood, her intentions. It was unsettling, and strangely intimate. Yeah, I hear it. Sometimes it's just static. Sometimes it's demanding. He squeezed her hand. Like you. She laughed. A deep, resonant sound. Perhaps. But you have proven yourself capable of handling demand, and of meeting it, even in the most unexpected of ways. Her gaze swept across the growing city below. The hymn has revealed its path. We will restore Xylos. Together, and you, Kale, will forever be etched into its melody. The human who laughed at the hymn's gift until he rebuilt it, and in doing so, rebuilt us all. He looked at the vast alien landscape, then back at her. A galaxy of trouble. A queen. A broken song made whole. He still didn't know what the hell he was doing, but for the first time in a long time, he felt like he belonged. And the feeling, terrifying as it was, wasn't entirely bad.